Well, straight away then, let's get across to the management of DB Corp. They came out with their numbers yesterday during the market hours. Their print ad revenues were impacted due to demonetization, but on the whole, revenue growth was at 6.3%, margins at 31.6%, lower by 50 basis points year on year, and profits also up 6%. Girish Agarwaal, the director of the company, joins in now. Hi, and thanks so much for joining in. You know, the concern is actually on the print ad revenue growth. Just a growth of 2.4% in Q3 FY17. You know, the impact of demonetization appears to be there. But post that, now as things stand, has normalcy returned back to business?
See, frankly speaking, in the month of October, we had a very strong double-digit growth. But after demonetization in November and December, there was a problem. But if you look at a brighter side, in this quarter, we earned an EBITDA of around 200 crores, which is the highest ever EBITDA done by us in any quarter since the time we got listed. And I think it's more prudent to now look at a 9 months number, because as you all know, there has been a problem in the last 2 months. And so if you look at the 9 month number, we are at around 11% advertising growth on the consolidated basis. And also important to note that in spite of revenue going down by, like as you said, 2.5%, 82% in this quarter also.
Well, Girish, how are newsprint prices moving then?
Newsprint prices, we have seen an increase of around 4% in terms of the newsprint rate last year, 9 months.
Your circulation revenue growth was quite strong at 8.9%. Could you give us the breakup in terms of pricing as well as volumes?
Yeah, almost 60% is because of the increase in the cover price, and around 40% I would say is from the circulation increase.
All right, Girish, give us an outlook then on the ad revenues due to the UP election. Remember, the government will revise its rates in the fourth quarter. What kind of benefit do you expect from this?
See, frankly speaking, government advertising and the election rate or the volume doesn't really make much of a difference, maybe a couple of percentages. But I think the most important for all of us to see how the economy is getting revived, because the impact of demonetization, we feel that it's now getting subsided, things are coming back to normal. But important is to see how fast we'll come back to normal and the growth, because right now the last 2 months have been negative. So from negative, you have when you say come back to normal, means you come to zero growth, and from zero you want to grow. So I think that we need to see how fast that is done.
Has there been a recovery, Girish, in your MP and Chhattisgarh market? How has that performed?
No, most of the market, if you look at in our case, whether it's Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, before the last quarter, we've been really good in all the quarters. You can imagine if 32% EBITDA margin we've been maintaining this quarter with a 4% top line, then imagine this top line would have been 9%, 10%. This number would be much better then.
Well, Girish, I continue to come back to that ad growth expectation. So what's it likely to be for FY18? What's the circulation growth expectation as well in FY18?
Circulation growth, we are very clear about it, because whatever growth we have shown in this quarter, we hope that this will continue for the next quarter also. But I think the bigger concern is on the advertising thing, because advertising is dependent on the sales by the other companies. So when the automobile, FMCG, real estate, when they come back to their normal track and they show some kind of traction back in the market, we expect to grow. But I think I have a large concern on the real estate sector, because that has gone very negative. So I don't know whether that sector will come back to normal fast or not.
Okay. Would you look at increasing your cover prices in any market, and if yes, by how much?
No, we are not increasing cover price now, because whatever cover price we increased in last 9 months, we are still getting the impact of that coming in as a benefit to us, as an annualization impact.
Well, Girish, your ad revenue growth is strong at around 12% in the past quarter. But what's the future of that business?
Radio is doing pretty well. We have a top line growth of around 21% in the last 9 months time, and we have launched around 8 stations more in last quarter itself. So we are currently today at 26 stations, and by this end of this quarter we'll be at around 30 stations. So radio is going pretty strong.
You spoke about 8 new launches in the last quarter. Will these launches, the new ones, be EBITDA positive?
So our experience in the radio business, that takes around 1.5 years time for them to be EBITDA positive. So all these stations have been launched in the last 6 months time. So give them another year.
All right, Girish, as we wind down this conversation then, Your digital business has increased by around 33%. I know that's on a low base. Will it continue to make losses though? When will it turn profitable? That's the important point.
See, frankly speaking, we are not concerned about digital making profit. Why? Because it has a top line of 42 crores in last 9 months' time, and we have a loss of around 18 crores in that as an investment. I would say more important to see what traction we are getting in terms of UV. So if you see, we have got around 80 million unique visitors in the last month. That's very positive because it's a growth of almost 150% over last year. So I think our main focus is that how this 80 million becomes 200 million. And for that, if we have to lose a couple of $1 million for the next couple of years, we are very happy with that.
Girish, it's a pleasure having you on the channel. Thanks so much for joining.